Hey, honey badgers. Good morning, good brunch, good evening, whatever you got going on in your little corner of the world right now. It's about 11 a.m. or so when I'm filming this, so good morning. I'm working on this little mini Timu canvas I found not too long ago. I started tinkering with it last night. It's pretty simple, really sweet though, as you can see. It's just a picture of a little girl sitting in a garden up against a garden wall, maybe holding a little white cat. Looks like she's got one of those, it almost looks like a christening gown, but also like a communion or like those big fluffy dresses we got put into when we were, little girls at Easter and our moms told us to just sit still and not get dirty for one damn minute. Maybe that was just my house. But anyway, I was tinkering around with this because I knew when I bought it that there might be a little bit of work I'd have to do with the face area because in the original image, it's not really detailed, but there's a little bit of detail that I thought at this size could be lost, but they weren't offering it in a different size, and the image was just so sweet. And I think when I got this, it was on one of its deals where it was like $1.50 or something like that. So I figured it was worth tinkering with and trying out. This may end up being not like a frequent series, but like a type of video I do every so often because, it's pretty common that I have to do face edits. I do a lot of canvases that are portraits. I like doing portraits, but one of the things with doing portraits is that inevitably you either have to just do the portrait and live with the way it is, or you have to teach yourself how to do face edits. Because it's just one of those tricky areas in diamond painting that, it's not an exact perfect science translating photos or art paintings, anything like that, into this sort of pixel style rebuild art. It can be a little bit complicated as far as like the translation, not the actual diamond painting, because like a lot of people like to point out to me, it's just sticking dots on glue. And like, yes, at its core, that is just what it's doing. But there is some skill that you pick up along the way as you're doing this long enough and you start working on enough of these canvases. There are little tricks you learn to learning how to do any type of painting or drawing or anything. When you first start drawing, when you first start painting, you learn basic lines, you learn how to do like stick figures or basic boxes or whatever, and then the longer you do it, you learn more about shading and how colors kind of blend together and all. You can learn those same things with doing diamond painting. Long before I was doing diamond painting, I started sketching and stuff. I mean, I'm still not a great sketcher, but I started doing little sketches and drawings and cartoons and stuff back when I was, I don't know, like 5 or 6. I was always doodling something. And then from there, when I got a little bit older, I learned about painting and things like that. So a lot of the things that I've picked up from a lot of those classes over the years, and, still, that not in any of those things am I what I would consider anywhere near sufficient as far as being like amazingly talented in any of that stuff. I'm pretty good with putting colors together. So I did study design for a while. I did have plans for a while to work in interior design, but the customer service angle of it kind of threw me out of the appeal of that. But I still have a lot of those skills you learn from going to those classes, as far as color combinations and spacing and making everything look balanced and all of that. So all that to say, I take all of those skills from all those different things that I've tried in my life, and I still put it into diamond painting. As far as when I do some of these canvases and I get faces, they're a little bit wonky, I'll figure out little things I can do to make them at least closer to something that's nice. It's not going to be perfection sometimes, and it's not just with, the budget canvases. Just because you put a mountain of money into a canvas doesn't mean that you're guaranteed no issues. As you can see from a number of diamond painting videos across this platform, there are a ton of people that have bought things from the premium companies and then been aghast that they weren't great. all of the time. Sometimes they were as problematic as some of the budget companies, and that happens because all of these companies have humans and humans are not infallible. So when you get into doing stuff like this, you like to pick up little tricks to make it a little bit better, or if that's an interest of yours. Some people just do these things and they just do them as is, and then it's just like they do it for the process and the calming effect, and then they just put them in a binder and forget about it, which is fine. But if it's something where you really want to get into this and you really want to learn how to make these canvases the very best they can, even at the super budget prices, because my thing is, like, whatever your budget is, if you put money into it, you should have a result you're happy with. And if you're not happy with it, that's what this channel is for. I try to show you things that I've learned, that I've picked up along the way, that I use in my canvases to make them a little nicer, a little cleaner, a little softer, so that if you want that same thing with yours, then there might be something here that can help you out. So I guess I'll just go ahead and get into this one, huh? So this is one that I've been messing with since last night. There's not too many issues with it. It's just basically the faces. There's not a lot of definition in the cat's face. Sometimes with these little faces, they get away with just putting like a little bit of a line, and you can do like like an arc of 310 or something like that, and that can make a face. But with this one, there just wasn't enough built into the face to do that. I tried doing that last night and it just looked weird because there's just not enough acreage on the cat's face to do it without giving it like weird freaky eyebrows. And I tried different colors of dots, and something about the dots, the round dots, it just wasn't working in this formation. Because the issue is over here, this I'll pop this off real quick so I can show you. The dot down here, they had one dot here and then one dot here. And then whenever you do a dot there, the way this is formed on this canvas, it leaves a weird gap. So I couldn't figure out what to do, and then it came to me last night. Hey, you know those pedal drills that everybody freaks out about, including me, when you get a special drill canvas and you see the tiny pedal drills and you're like, oh no, because they do make a cool effect when you have a bunch of them together. It is really pretty, but they are just super tedious to work with because they are so freaking tiny. But I have a bunch of them in my spares, so I figured what I could do, because the same thing happened over here. They put like a dot and then there was like a weird angle. So I thought with the little bit of tail on that, I could maybe make like a sort of pseudo cat eye. I'm trying to push that back in, and put a special drill there and try to make it look at least somewhat more like a cat face. It's not going to be perfection. There's not going to be a ton of detail because this is only a 20 by 30 frame, but at least something that resembles a cat that you could be like, oh yeah, no, I've seen one of those out in the wild before. Then with her, something kind of similar was going on, not so much at an angle, but they had like two little dots here for one eye, and then I believe this one here was another eye space, but there was just one, and the rest was supposed to be face. And I tried doing it that way and it just looked creepy. And that's one of the issues I have when I work with smaller canvases, where they just put like a dot for an eye because that's all the real estate they have face-wise on a smaller canvas to work with. Sometimes they'll just put like a 310 dot in the middle and be like, yeah, that's her eye. Have a good time with that. And it just, whenever I try that, some people just leave it that way. It looks creepy to me when I have art that looks like that. When it's just, I don't know, if you're doing a horror image or a Halloween image, you can get away with it, but I don't want all of my portraits looking like Coraline. So I try to soften that as much as possible. And I tried, a lot of times when I do these portrait ones, you can, like, I think I think this is one that maybe they put in for the eye. It's not directly a 310 on this one, but even with the softer brown, it still looked weird on this for some reason. So with this one, the way I was able to soften it is I ended up using 2 sort of medium brown crystals, since I was in my special drills getting the crystals for the cat eyes anyway. I was like, let me see if I have any brown crystals that might go with that. And I found these 2 brown crystals that were basically the same color family as these other browns in her hair and stuff. And I was like, that could maybe work. So I tried that, and I liked the way it looked on this eye. I tried putting the other eye in, and just every combination I tried putting the other eye in, it just looked weird. And finally it came to me, what if I just extend her bang? Because she's kind of cuddled up over this cat anyway. So all of this in here was face originally, like all this back in here. I think her original hairline stopped with this row, if I remember right, because this is her eyeball here, her other eyeball. But since it looked weird, what I ended up doing is just taking her hairline out a little bit more and taking some of the extra brown and trying to do like a little bit of a hair swoop, like the old-timey like Veronica Lake swoop style. And there's a little bit more brown in here I got to put in. So in the end, once I put this last line of brown up in here, once that's in, it'll basically be this teardrop shape here that will just be her face. So I think that's going to work. I think that's going to balance it out a little bit better. I think that's maybe the 2 big problem areas with this that I had to smooth out. The other things I'm looking at is that you see here, she's got some flowers in her hair, and then down here, there's flowers over here, but they kind of blend in with the dress. So I'm hoping those are going to stand out a little bit. I'm thinking what I may do just to help it out a little bit is put in some white ABs in her hair and maybe scatter a few in her dress just to give it a little extra edging and definition so it's not just all washed into the background there. So that's what I'm working on in this one. Once those get smoothed out, I think it'll be a really sweet piece. I mean, it was well worth the $1.50 or whatever I paid for it, right? The drills so far that I've been working with, I mean, I've only done like 3 colors here, but the drills have been pretty nice. They haven't been quite as nice quality because I've been getting a lot of these mini ones lately that have actually been like resin quality level. These ones are a little bit rougher cut, but they still look like they might be the resin style, which I've been surprised about. Since they're mini kits, that the drill qualities have been so nice. It's not quite as good as let me pull him down real quick. The one I finished not too long ago. These were like super nice for a budget kit. Not quite as smoothed out as those, but still pretty good. So yeah, just thought I would do a little bit of a video for this one and explain what I was doing with that. Just give you some ideas if you happen to pick this one up, or if you were looking at it and curious about it and wasn't sure if it was worth it or if you wanted to mess with it. This is what I've been doing with it. So I thought maybe I would do a little bit of an explanation at the beginning of this and then maybe show you a finale of how it turned out once I did all of this, so you can get like the full experience. So yeah, I might do that. So yeah, stay tuned and I'll come back with a, hey, look how it happened. Look how it turned out. All right, see you guys in a minute. So I tried using the color for the skin tone that came with the kit, and it's just looking a little bit Phantom of the Opera right now to me. So yeah, may have to tone that down, may have to pull all these out and go in my spares and try to find something a little bit calmer, a little bit cooler, something, maybe do a little mix of something, because it's very extreme. But it's part of the process. Luckily this is a small canvas, so it's not going to take me that long to fix it. Yeah, I was doing the arm and I was like, okay, maybe it's not that bad, and then I got to the face and I was like, oh no. So yeah, I'll be back with a hopefully softer look for this poor girl. All right, it's a little better. It's still gonna look a little bit weird. You know, I mentioned that canvas wise, we're kind of working with like the studio apartment level of drill real estate here. So you're not going to have deep definition. Mainly what we're going for here is, can we still make it look good from like an abstract art kind of way, you know, where the rules and interpretation can be a little bit loose. So that's kind of the vibe I'm going for here, I guess. So yeah, the face is it's gonna be a little bit kind of looks like something you would recognize as human like. But I think it definitely looks better than the way it was originally graphed. You know, the super dark orange that was originally going to be in there. I toned it down a little bit. I ended up still keeping some of this in here, and then what did I go? I went into my neutrals collection and found a little bit of 3825, and sometimes I get kits that don't have the DMCs on the bags. I'm sure you've run into those. So even though I'll save my spares, I don't always have the DMC with it, just because that's the way it came. I just have to sort of guess at what the DMC is. This one I did keep the DMC in there. So this is a 3825. So this is the lighter color that I've been mixing in here to soften that up. But I've found that when you do a mix of them that are in, you know, pretty close proximity to each other color family wise, it does make a nice soft look, even if you can't get the, you know, face definition there. It overall, for the eye, it makes it nicer. But while I was here, I thought I would show something that I mentioned in a different video. Let me see here. What did I do with that bag? Hold on just a second. Is this it? Okay. Yeah, so in a recent video I mentioned, it might have been in one of the Rainbow Retriever videos I was talking about it in, but I mentioned that even when you save drills by DMC, the DMC is not gospel as far as color matches necessarily, because you can get multiple drills in the same DMC code. So technically, number wise, they should be the same color, but when the drills are made, it's dependent on what was mixed into them. They can come out with different variations within the dye lot. All kinds of stuff goes into those equations, so you don't always get an exact match. So for example, what I was going to show you here is let me see. Okay, so this one, and you can see the DMCs on them because I marked them, but well, this one's on the bag. It says 3825, and I marked it on this bag when I finished this from whatever kit this came from. I marked the 3825 because if I have it written in Sharpie, that probably means the DMC was on the canvas but not on the bag, I'm guessing. So that's how I got the DMC from that. But for an example, you saw that both of these are marked 3825, but clearly those are two different shades. And then with this darker color we have from this kit, color 11 is 3064. This is another kit, or this is another color I pulled as a potential because I thought it was a different color, but as you can see, this is also, well, let me get it better in the camera. This is also marked 3064. Sorry, we are working, yeah, 3064. So yeah, with these two as well, technically supposed to be same color, same DMC code, but clearly visually not the same color. So that's why, you know, DMCs are nice, but I don't hold myself to that as far as storing them. I tend to lean more on just general color family. But if I have the DMC, it's nice if I'm trying to match up with different kits, you know, say I run out of something, or on the off chance I get a kit that doesn't have a bag I need, if I go in and the DMC is there, it saves a little bit of time so I can get closer to a match without having to, visually stare at it and see if it's close enough. So yeah, just thought I would mention that while we're here. But yeah, this is where I'm at with this. So I'm going to mix the rest of this in here. There's no rhyme or reason to how I did the arm. I just kind of instinctually do it as far as picking out some of the color that was in there just so I can get a mix of the colors. So yeah, it's one of those things where you just have to sit down with your canvas and feel out where you want to cut down the color for you. But yeah, I'll just go back in and fill in these lighter drills to these spaces real quick, and then I can push forward with the rest of the green and the white. As you're watching this, it's the next day. This is all done. It's all sealed. It's as good as I'm gonna get it. But I think it came out pretty cute. So this is the cat. Ooh, there we go. This is the cat face up close with those little seed. What do we call them? Petal drills. Couldn't remember the name for a second, but yeah, the petal drills. That's what I used for the eyes. And it's one of those things where when you put the special drills in, you do have to wiggle it a little bit because it's, when they don't design the special drills in, there's not the space for them naturally. But you can get away with doing it with certain special drills if you just fudge it a little bit and bump things over. So with these, with the petal drills, thankfully, since they're small enough, it fit just fine. I didn't have too much issue doing that. And I think it came out kind of cute. And I don't know, some people might look at this and be like, that cat looks kind of demonic. But you know what? If you live with a cat, you know they have those days. Cute as they are, they have those days. Much like, I guess, all of us some days. But yeah, that's how the cat came out. And then I showed you, I did the dark crystal on her eye, and then did the the hair wave on the other side to block out where the other eye was supposed to be, just because the positioning of the other eye, since you can't really get a really defined nose here that well, having the other eye there just looked weird. So I just ended up giving her a larger bang, basically. And then up in her hair, none of these special drills were included. That was just sort of my edits to fix all this and to space it out a little bit better. But up in her hair, I used some clear crystal AB, and then there's also some of that like light purple AB in there. I did a strip of those light purple ones, and then there's like one white or clear crystal AB up in her hair piece. And then I scattered them throughout her skirt. So you see a line of the clear ABs there, rainbow ABs. Did I put any? I might have not put any of the purple down in the skirt. That might have just been a hairpiece thing I did. But I definitely scattered the clear ABs throughout her skirt just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of, that sunlight look. So yeah, those are the edits I made on her. If you look at the link down below and you look at what the picture is supposed to look like in its natural form, yeah, it's pretty different. But so far, this is the only size I've seen that image offered in. I would love to get it if it comes out somewhere in like maybe a 40 by 50. I think the definition on that would be beautiful. But I haven't seen it so far. So I may do with this right now. And it's still cute. I still like it. So if you're interested in trying this out, I will link this canvas down below. I think it's still on there for like $270 something like that. It's one of those super budget ones. So yeah, I'll put the link for that down below. And also, if you want to see the completion reel for this one, the song I used for the completion reel on this one is I think I used Morning is Broken by Cat Stevens. And yes, I intentionally went out at dawn to get morning sun on this canvas just so I could get that effect, because this day when I'm filming it, there's expected 100% chance of rain later in the day. So I wanted to run out before I lose that sun and get that video for you guys so you can see like the nice soft effect on it. Because the way the weather's been lately, I don't know. It's hard to do the completion reels because they do look better outside when you get sunlight on them, but the weather is so back and forth here in Western North Carolina lately, and a lot of places. But it's life in the South where it's it's bright and sunny 1 minute, and then like 10 minutes later you could have a severe thunderstorm out of nowhere. So yeah, you just have to sort of roll with it. So yeah, if you're interested in any of that, all of those links will be down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk soon.